Today we're going over the Magnificent Seven. Hey guys, Vulgar Critic here with Pop or Flop. Today we're going to be going over Antoine Fuqua's remake of the Magnificent Seven. The film reunites Training Day ensemble director Antoine Fuqua with stars Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington. And surprisingly, Denzel's actually playing a really subtle role. He's not wearing a big goofy cowboy hat and loud spurs with a lot of tacky lines, such as,
"King Kong ain't got shit on me!"
The film itself, while the story's, nothing too special, the action has a lot of decent moments in it. And Chris Pratt, though he might not get the role for the new Indiana Jones movie, he shows that he does have some heart and a good comedic side to it, as we've all known if you've ever seen Parks and Recreations.
Sugar high, sugar hit high, sugar high.
While the original Japanese version might have been something of a classic, I did recently rewatch the Steve McQueen version in the 60s of Magnificent Seven, and it's not anything great. It's another Western. Did this need to be remade? No, probably not. But is it worth your $10 going in? Yeah, you could probably spend it on that. The film's set in 1879, and the whole premise of the movie is a small town being tormented by a villain played by Peter Sarsgaard, and how Denzel Washington and a group of Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, and others come together to help lead actress Haley Bennett stop Peter Sarsgaard from ruining their small town. While the film itself is nothing close to a masterpiece, it's not exactly a worthless remake of a remake. Director Antoine Fuqua has a lot of nice touches to it, and he doesn't go full Michael Bay with the action. While the end 20 minutes is fantastic, and probably the best thing I've seen in the Western since 2003's Kevin Costner film Open Range, there are only a few things I really like about it. The characterization of a lot of people is pretty thin. While Chris Pratt and a few other characters get a lot of the headline time, there's some that I wish I saw more of, and some, such as Peter Sarsgaard's villain, that I really would have loved to see more of. He seems to only pop up every so often when the movie really needs him to, and every time we see him, he's kind of just sitting on his horse smoking a cigarette wearing all black. And that's kind of a cliche for me. Although there are a few things that I didn't like about the movie, such as the paper-thin dialogue, the really slim characterization of a lot of characters that I would have liked to see, such as Vincent D'Onofrio's character, or this guy from Full Metal Jacket, and I also wanted to see more Ethan Hawke. He's really hamming it up as an ex-Civil War vet that's kind of afraid to use his pistol, whereas Denzel seems to get a lot of the screen time, sharing it with Chris Pratt, whose humor is alright, but it's nothing we haven't seen from Parks and Recreations. And I think the film's biggest flaw is probably the use of villain, played by Peter Sarsgaard. While he's really starting to take some different turns as the actor and get out of some comedy that we've seen him do, he's not exactly given the screen time that I think his character deserves. He pops up in the first 10 minutes of the film, shoots his gun, and then seems to leave until the film needs him 40 minutes later, after Denzel and his group of gunslingers show up at the town and start preparing the townspeople for the big fight. Of course, he shows up at the end, wearing all black and smoking a cigarette, sitting on his horse, but again, he's not really putting the fight in the Old West gunfight that we want him to. And I can't really blame everything on director Antoine Fuqua, who seems to be focusing a lot of his attention on Denzel and the continuity of a lot of things going on there. While there's not really any talk of something that doesn't make sense, there's a lot of lack of stuff that really could have been added, such as what's Denzel's backstory, some more of Ethan Hawke's backstory, and maybe seeing that lead actress topless. Whereas most movies might not have the balls to kill off a lead actor, this guy seems to be doing it in such a glorious attempt, it almost makes me wish it was a Magnificent 14. You're probably wondering, is it a pop or is it another flop? Surprisingly enough, it's actually a pretty good pop. Overall, was I impressed with a lot of things in it? Yeah, kinda, but I'm a hard person to impress. I am gonna be fair, and I'm gonna give this movie about 7.5 out of 10. Be sure to tune in next week when I'll be going over Deepwater Horizon and find out if that's a piece of garbage like every other Mark Wahlberg movie or something you should actually go see. And be sure to follow us on Instagram @pop_films_ and Twitter
@pop_films_
and be sure to check out our Facebook page right here.